the tight end of tackles, a quarterback's worst nightmare. Make some noise for the defensive dominator, IDP Hunter! And the ruler of the red zone, dropping dimes, running the offense like a boss. Big Game James! We bring the heat!
What's going on, guys? It's the real IDP Hunter. You guys know all offseason we have been grinding, whether it was rookie scouting at the Senior Bowl, to dynasty rankings, to mock drafts. We've kind of graduated into that redraft season. And Jamie, my co-host, he's here with us tonight. You know, he's been hardcore into the best ball community. And he found for us tonight, for your entertainment, for your enjoyment purposes, he found for us tonight probably, arguably, the best ball ranker out there in the community. His name is Adam. Adam Rancio. You know him as Nice and Blunt. Let me tell you about Adam, okay? Adam used to be an actor and assistant director. I said used to be. I don't know if you're still in the game, but he was on My Name is Earl and Alvin and the Chipmunks. So I'm kind of excited. My little chipmunk nostalgia. I might reminisce with you there. But on top of that, more recently, he's in the game. He's the founder of the Nice and Blunt Fantasy Football Podcast, and I'm hoping to get to know your work over there a lot more, Adam. Most recently, he's taken all of his credentials, all of his acting, all of his directing Hall of Fame, and he's putting it into great content over there on his channel. And he's bringing some of that over to share with us tonight. What's going on, Adam? How are you?
I'm doing great. What an intro. Appreciate the kind words, and hopefully I can live up to the hype. But yeah, I'm glad to be here and excited for this upcoming season. It feels like fantasy football is like really taking off and just like gaining so much steam. Like even with the World Cup and all the other things going on, football's still right there. And I'm really excited for this year. So thank you for bringing me on. And happy
right
to be
around
here.
the corner. Right around
Yeah.
the corner, football's coming. Jamie, fun fact: my first record ever as a kid was Alvin Simon Theodore, Alvin and the Chipmunks. And
Was it the Christmas album?
Every record since then, I always want to forward them and make the noise. You know what I mean? So a little bit of goodness here coming from me. Guys, I know you guys are going to pull up some mock drafts, and you guys are going to talk about some best ball drafts that you guys are doing. Just for the casual fan, myself included, because I'm in that redraft mindset, I was going to ask you, Adam, redraft, best ball. Are they similar? Are they the same? Or where do you say best balls and redrafts are different?
I think the big difference is you have to make decisions in redraft. You're actually met with the fandom versus the reality of what these players can do. And I think sometimes you can really lay an egg in redraft when you really wouldn't expect it. You know, like you can kind of breeze by the thought process. You're like, oh yeah, I got these studs this week in the lineup. I don't need to touch my bench. I'm just locking in these players. But the matchups, the injuries, all the things are factors that you have to keep in mind. And when it's best ball, you never have to think about that. So it's just kind of automatic. In that form, it's kind of an easier, nonchalant way to play. But when your real money is at stake and your actual like entertainment value of watching the game is at stake, sometimes you make some fun choices. Sometimes you make the wrong decision and you'd be pretty shocked. Best ball kind of like smooths over all of that. So I kind of view it as like to win best ball, the percentages are so slim. So that's what makes it difficult. But I kind of feel like the way you play it, you're kind of really met with tough decisions when it's in redraft. I prefer redraft, to be honest with you.
So I'm kind of curious how you would play this or even answer this question. Would you say like the rankings are the same, or like on a best ball, are you chasing more like weekly spike players like early on?
The rankings don't change too much. There are some players that I do like a little bit more in redraft, just because to know like weekly, like what am I going to get from a floor from this player in my lineup? I like a little bit more consistency in redraft. But you also need to mix in the high spikes, the truly elite talents. And I would say in best ball, maybe that's just a little bit more on the back burner in terms of like prioritizing the strategy.
So you mentioned spike weeks. And for a guy like me that doesn't play in a lot of best balls, Jamie plays in 1,000. I can't wait to hear the questions he has for you. But for spike week players, or maybe are you more strategizing the fact that you're building a more balanced roster, or maybe you prefer stacking, or do you kind of go with it like Bruce Lee? Do you kind of move like water? What is your ideal strategy?
The way I kind of build my strategy for best ball is regarding quarterbacks. I think your quarterback rankings are actually some of the most important aspect of your edge in best ball, because that's what sets up stacks, and that's where some of the biggest positional like weekly winner can come from. Like look at week 15, Trevor Lawrence dropped a 40+ bomb, and like nobody else was like, I think the next best was like there was like a 30 point game out of like Brock Purdy or something. I might be mistaken on the exact player, but like if you get an extra 10 points at quarterback, that also correlates to the players that have to catch those passes. So I do want to be stacking in best ball, particularly. I do want the stack. In redraft, you can get burned with the stack if it's over committed and you have the wrong take. So I like to build my teams with quarterbacks in mind, and that's what kind of dictates some of my picks on, especially wide receiver. Like, as much as I love Nico Collins, sometimes it's a little disappointing to take him because it's like, well, shit, I don't want to stack with CJ Stroud. This is not the most exciting combo. So that can definitely influence my takes. And I think that's where you can maybe have an edge by spotlighting some advantages at quarterback in your rankings where you're higher or lower versus the field. And then you avoid some of the landmines and get more of those better values. Quarterback stacks, very important.
Ain't that the truth? I know there were some drafts, not recently, but probably earlier in the season, and I'm like, Jamie, I got Nico Collins and somebody else on the clock. I don't feel comfortable taking Nico Collins, even though I know that's the right pick. So, yeah, that's a great way to answer that. And you may have already answered my next question here with the quarterback and the stacking, or maybe you have another way to answer this one. But my final question here, because we're trying to get down to the truth about these best ball drafts. What's one thing casual fans, fantasy players in the community, they tend to get wrong about best ball?
Ooh, I mean, the last couple of years, I'd say I was probably a little bit more in the casual space. I think this year I've gotten a little bit more experience just on volume and stuff. And I think the overstack can be an easy pitfall to step into once you wrap your mind about the value of stacks, where like, I think maybe last year I was more inclined to build like a mega roster with, let's say, like all of the Colts just to hit all of that specific team. And like, every week one will find its way. If you don't have the right team to do it with, like, let's say the Bengals a couple of years ago, when that was the stack that you needed, you can kind of just assume like, okay, well, this team will just mega invest in this franchise, this one a different franchise. But I think in general, you want the very specific, just this one player versus like the entire roster. There's not as many teams I think you can overload stacks with that you might think.
Jorge Edwards is in the chat, everybody. I just popped up there. He said, great question, Steve. I don't have many answers tonight, Jorge. I'm trying to learn this redraft best ball. So I tried to give the best minds in the community that I know. Jamie, am I lying when I say this? How often do I call you? I'm on the clock. Who should I take? Joe Smith or Joe Brown? Yeah. I do it to you all the time. Surprised you don't charge me. So please, Jamie, jump in here anytime. What questions do you have for do you go by Adam or you go by Nice and Blunt?
You can call me Adam. That's fine.
Okay. I prefer to call you Adam. I'm like, who's this blunt guy? Blunt Man and Chronic? Who's he? Is this James? But okay. Yeah, you have any questions for Adam, Jamie?
Yeah. Well, first, I'm going to call you Nice and Blunt because me and you share a common denominator in that. But
sure.
I also want to say what's up to Mike Robb. Mike Robb is in the chat. Love him. He's all over the community.
How are you doing, Mike Robb?
Yep. I mean, there's like hundreds of thousands of people in this best ball community. Mike Robb's one of the great ones. But yeah, let's pull up one of your draft boards and
Right. Yeah,
Well,
sure. Let me
let's talk some real best ball, because you are in a lot of tournaments. Me personally, I don't play in a lot of tournaments. I play in like the single leagues where I'm only facing 11 other people. You're facing hundreds of thousands of other people. So there's a difference between drafting the way I draft and the way you draft for these tournaments. So the biggest thing that I found that in the way that I draft in the single leagues, you just take best player available. But for you, going against hundreds of thousands of people, you have to stack. You have to do like the game correlations. And how do you approach that? Like, how do you approach going for week 17 correlations, or just like same game stacks?
I guess I've played in those 12-person leagues, and I will say it's a lot easier to make a profit in those. It's definitely the wiser way of like spending your money if you just want to just lock up an easy $20 off that $3 entry or whatever. Like I've seen much higher returns personally in those. So I guess I've been more willing to gamble a bit more this year. And you kind of have to accept the risk that you're taking. Sometimes it's just you kind of tolerate that you might just never see this money again, and the sheer volume of making these attempts is kind of what's worth finding that one team that can elevate against the rest. And with that in mind, I'm looking at the tournament structure and I'm trying to believe that I'm already in the final. Like there's an element of just sheer optimism and maybe delusion, because if you don't treat this team like it is in the final, then you're not necessarily maximizing the chance to score in the final. So I've been really focusing this year on the matchups, the games in week 17 that I like the most. There are some that I value way more than others, and weather's a factor, defense is a factor, but sometimes rivalries are a factor, and like playoff contention is also a big factor. So teams that I project to be in contention versus vying for a number 1 overall pick, something like that, is always at the top of my mind. And maybe I get a little biased, but there's like a handful of games that I'm just like, yeah, get me a piece of that game, because if it goes off, I think this is the route to be taking. But I could be wrong. I could also have the wrong take. I could also draft a bunch of players that just get injured. There's the gamble of the equation. And as much as I would like to believe I'm on the right track, you kind of don't know until you're there. So it's a risk-reward ratio. How much are you tolerating to lose while trying to shoot for $100K, $2 million in best case scenario?
Hey, Jamie.
Yeah.
Chopper's in the chat. He says, "What's up to you?" Jorge said, "Love the game theory, notepad open." And you guys know Mike Robb. I don't, but I think Adam may be paying this guy to give him compliments. He left you 2 notes. He said, "Look at the dude smile." He's not talking about me. He's talking about Adam. Of course he is doing TV and movies. But then Mike Robb dropped a question here. I thought this was kind of neat. I thought this was interesting. Does Nice and Blunt have one of those contests he likes the most? Or is there a good one for newer people like myself that can go in there and get some reps?
I think at the moment, let me actually pull up the lobby, because I'm pretty sure the Poodle is the most exciting tournament out at the moment. I believe so. Yeah, this is, I think, for your money open right now, I think the best contest to be entering, a maximum of 20 entries for $7 a pop. So maybe you don't want to completely max it out if that sounds like a lot, but I think in terms of your chances to make the final, this is where it's at. 1 out of 6, 1 out of 5, and then 310 people when it's all said and done. Some of the numbers on tournaments these days are much more difficult than that. Like the Puppy, you're in a pot of 1 out of 10 before 1 out of 5, and then 750 people, more than double. So it does change things on your chances just to make it there. And that's where, if you're just a beginner, I wouldn't recommend entering Best Ball Mania. I would absolutely recommend trying the Poodle, because not only is it going to be open for a little bit, it's kind of time boxed, so you're not going to be factoring in amazing values that were available in May or more clarity on picks that we're going to get in August based on injuries and stuff. So I think right now the Poodle is very, very exciting because it gives you solid chances. It's pretty even throughout every round, and it's achievable. 1 out of 6 is much easier than 1 out of 10. That is for sure. So keep that in mind. The odds are always a little bit different in each contest, but the Pit Bowl is also very exciting. That's a similar contest, 1 out of 6, 1 out of 5. The final's smaller, but it costs $20. So I'd recommend practicing in the Poodle and then trying your luck in the Pit Bowl because of the chances to advance.
Yeah,
Jamie,
so last year,
OC Tarzan swinging from a vine, looking for Jane. He wants to know if we can drop the link for the tournament. We can put that in the comments afterwards, right?
Yeah, well, go to Underdog. Nice and blunt. Do you have like a promo code that you can drop?
Yeah, I'd love to say it. If you sign up with promo code BLUNT, if you get to be a new customer, you will get an extra $50 in bonus funds after you play your first 5. So you'll get a first-time deposit match up to $1,000. It'll be 50% on sign-up using promo code BLUNT. And then once you enter your first puppy, let's say you enter the puppy for $5 or the Frenchie for $5, you'll get $50 instantly in your account. Promo code BLUNT. It has to be input on sign-up.
Nice. So what I did last year, I joined the Little Dalmatian, which was only $1, and that's how I got my feet wet in the tournament style drafts. Because you max it out, what, $20, $25, whatever it was. I think I ended up making my money back on it. But like you said earlier, it is easier to make money off of just those single leagues against 11 other people, but you're not making the big bucks. So there's no way I'm going to be a millionaire in the future. I'm just trying to gain my bankroll for the future in order for me to get in these tournaments. So I have a chance to win that big bankroll.
Yeah, the percentages are, in the 12-person league, you got to finish top 3. You have a quarter chance just to get your money back. In the tournaments, you have less than that to get your money back, and then to actually profit, you got to advance again. It becomes much more fractional. So you got to be willing to have more risk tolerance in order to maximize the profit. And nothing is guaranteed. It's just it's nice to have fun, and definitely helps prep for your regular league because the ADPs are never going to be as sharp as they are here. Everyone has to pay money, so that's definitely the spot.
So I was reading Jorge's comment. Jorge said something I can watch him read off rankings, not to make it weird or anything. You're getting a lot of weird fanfare tonight. We don't get this. Maybe it's your aftershave. I don't know. Maybe it's the fact I said you're a former actor. Maybe you were a model in former life. I don't know. Hey, fun fact about Jorge. If the audience out there, if you guys like IDP or even offense, he has his own premium channel. Fantasy and Frames, we got premium work over there. I'm writing over there. Jamie's in the Discord. We got tons of work. If you're a nerd, you want to hear about defensive lineman regression or snap count crimes based on football snaps, but we do it in Unsolved Mysteries theme. If you want to hear about nerd talk on defense or offense, check out Jorge Edwards' website, Fantasy and Frames. He's right here creeping on us. We can go back and creep on you later. Thank you, Jorge, for the comments. Jamie, you were talking about, and actually you and Adam were talking about third place. Gotta get there. I just want to not look stupid in front of my friends. Can you help me with some of these drafts, not make me look stupid in front of my friends?
Yeah, let's pull up one of Adam's drafts. Okay. I got it on screen now.
Let's see. Yeah, here we go. This was one I drafted a month ago that I'm pretty happy with. I got some good values on this team. And yeah, I like how it's built. We have Brock Purdy. He's stacked up with Christian McCaffrey on this team. I think that's one of the best stacks on the roster in San Francisco. McCaffrey can catch 100 passes if possible. But I'm high on Cam Ward this year. I got a really nice price on him at 150. And then I do think Rodgers, I took him at 163. He's kind of going there these days This was about a month ago. I think that's just kind of where he deserves to go. But I really like the running back room on this one a lot. Like I mentioned, CMC round 1. He either stays healthy or he doesn't. But if he stays healthy, he's always delivered at cost. So on occasion, let's rip him with confidence. But then I got Chase Brown, RB2. I'm a believer in Cam Scatterbo this year. I think he's going to pop off. I like him quite a bit. So I think round 4 is pretty nice. Then I waited a while and got a great price on Kenneth Gainwell. Like I said, this was a month ago. Gainwell right now is going closer to like 105, pick 100 in a lot of formats. So that's a really sweet price. And then I also have Sean Tucker just as like a full fade against Bucky Irving, who right now is just not a safe pick. And Tucker has also risen since then. But receiver on this team I like a lot as well. Rice, I got at pick 30. Worth it. Absolutely worth it. He's out of jail right now, so I'm willing to gamble with that. But then BTJ, one of my bigger stands this year, I got him at 67, so love that in the 6th round. Plus DK Metcalf, a little past ADP. He's stacked up. Quentin Johnston currently is risen into the 70s. I got him at 102, so just another really nice price. And then Worthy at 115 right now. He's going much higher. Bernard stacks. I took the gamble on Kirk, kind of lesser owned. And then my tight end room is great. I got Loveland and Goddard. I wanted to stop there, but the double week 10 buy, I'll just get an extra piece for points with the final tight end in Njoku.
Speaking of being 70s, somebody left in the chat, CMC is so old right now. I think I know you guys' answer. We don't care. We're not playing Dynasty. We just want those players in there. Who cares if he's old?
In terms of running back rankings, like you have to approach best ball with the best case scenario. And like injuries can happen to anyone, but when he's on the field, he does deliver. He had 2,000 yards last year. So I'm not going to take him all the time, but I don't want to have no CMC in my exposure bank.
Jamie or Adam, follow-up question. I know I'm kind of like just yakking here. When you're in like, let's say a 12 team first round and you're in those mid picks, nobody kind of likes those mid picks, right? Do you think it's smarter to go elite wide receiver first just because there's so many RBs? Or do you think you go RB first and then get a later round player? Like what would be your, I know you got to move like water in these things. What would be your ideal move?
I'm not sure what Jamie likes, but I've been talking myself more into wide receiver has the best value round 1, especially on underdog where you have to start 3 because it's just so hard to get one of those elite wideouts that score a high point total. Like those are just hard to replicate week over week in your lineup. So that I've been talking myself into, but I don't like to take it out of ADP when I worry about who can come back at running back in round 2, because I think round 2 has like really, really strong values at that position. But I'm never taking a receiver over Gibbs or Bijan.
Yeah, I agree. You got Gibbs, Bijan, Chase, Puka, JSN, and then it becomes the question of do I go Jonathan Taylor, CMC, or do I do like a Justin Jefferson, St. Brown, Lamb? And if I'm in that middle round, I'm going to take the receiver first.
Yeah.
And then on the way back in a second round, I'm going to get like a Kenneth Walker, a Chase Brown, maybe a Derrick Henry type player. So I go for the balanced approach.
Yeah, I don't know if the running back order right now is correct, to be honest. Like there's some, like that guy was pointing out, CMC is old. If he goes down, that's a tough pick in round 1. But calling your shot on wide receiver is usually a bit safer at the top.
We had a couple comments in the chat directed for Jamie. GAB, like he hates when we do live, which I do, because like we're like 10 minutes talking about everybody in the chat, but everybody loves Jamie all of a sudden. I'm going to go back to the well. The only person that loves me is Jorge Edwards. He's asking a smart question, and I know the answer to this because I've been listening to Jamie Perogue in the offseason. Thoughts on Chig, tight end of the Commanders, and thoughts on Christian Kirk?
Well, for me, I'll start off. So Chig is going to be amazing. He has that top 12 to 15 upside any given week, considering that a dusty old Zach Ertz was putting up those numbers last year, and now you got Chig doing it. But with Christian Kirk, everyone's so on this new shiny toy, Stribling. Stribling ain't anything. They brought in Christian Kirk to play the slot, and I see Adam. You draft him in as your last wide receiver, and I love that because he could be a safety valve. He could just be like a target funnel in that offense. So yeah, give me Christian Kirk at his value.
The injuries above, at least the injury risk above him, is a huge reason to at least mix him in a little bit. But then you factor in the fact that he kind of goes undrafted most of the time. You're getting a more unique player. There's not going to be as many Christian Kirk teams in the player pool. So if you're right, you not only pay off with a last round pick, you get someone that is lesser owned, and then you are at a big advantage because those are the only points in your pod that get to use that player.
Yeah, I agree. He did have 1,000 yards at one point in his career. I'm not going to say he's going to get there this year, but he does have the skill.
Yeah, he's been
like
too productive to
4.
ignore.
Yep.
Absolutely.
I got one more from Jorge. Jorge wants to take over the show. Jorge, we're going to do this over on your channel, Fantasy and Frames, next. He asked you, would you rather go QB1, wide receiver 2, or would you rather go QB1 and wide receiver 4 and 5 when you're building a roster in regards to the stack?
For the stack, there's not that many teams I'm dying to get the number 4 or 5 option. So I would definitely prefer wide receiver 2.
So what are some of your favorite stacks that you can easily acquire in these drafts? So if you pull up your draft board,
it's getting a little tougher these days because Quentin Johnston's moving up the board, but I was taking Herbert and Quentin Johnston together like crazy. I have Herbert on. He's my most drafted quarterback by far. Might be biased because I'm a Charger fan, but love the Mike McDaniel system. Harbaugh wants to get Herbert in the Hall of Fame. This could be an MVP season. So I'm loading up on Herbert. I want every piece I can get with him. And if QJ is going to be tougher to acquire these days, I'll just stack him up with Trey Harris like crazy much later.
I actually prefer Trey Harris just at his value because I think he's going to kind of step up this year. That could take a little bit away from QJ. And we all know QJ has bricks for hands. Like, how often is he catching his balls? Like 50% of the time?
He's gotten better. He's gotten better. He's not perfect, but he has more touchdown receptions than Ladd last 2 seasons combined.
Hey, don't shoot the messenger, Jamie, but GAB for Life is saying reports local beat writers. This is what we do in the offseason on the Twitter streets. We pay attention to OTAs and the beat writers. But he's saying Christian Kirk is dust. He's just relaying the message, don't shoot the messenger. And then he put Stribling to the moon. I don't know how you feel about that one.
But I mean, yeah, he could be dust, but give me the vet over the new shiny rookie toy that they reached on in the draft.
I kind of agree with you there. It's redraft / best ball, right? I don't care how old they are. I just care what you're going to do on the field. Now, if we're playing Dynasty, maybe a little different, but yeah. We had a question.
Player, but he has had some injuries recently. He has had some injuries. So it's possible that could just come back to haunt him, but he still has something left in the tank. I would assume I want to have some Christian Kirk. I want some Stribling too, but every now and then you can only pick one.
I skipped over this one. I was going to wait till the end because I know you guys are going over stuff. But in regards to everything we're talking about, who's that one player that's going to break draft boards? Like the player you got to get, must have, go in there and get.
My most drafted player is Tank Bigsby.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I've been going after him a lot too, so I agree.
Tank Bigsby, I think, has the chance. I mean, it's an all or nothing bet. It kind of involves Saquon getting hurt, but you look at all the running backs early on. Saquon's had plenty of injury risk in the past. Saquon has a shit ton of touches last 2 seasons. His efficiency metrics fell off. Tank Bigsby was running really well. I believe 5+ yards per carry. If not, it was like 4.7. It was really good. And then he's in a contract year. If Saquon goes down, we saw last year Tank Bigsby gets 17 carries, 4 targets. He's a 20-touch type of guy. And you want to be running behind the Eagles' offensive line. So that's just for the price, the premier handcuff I've been taking like crazy. Love Tank Bigsby.
Now it is I with the notebook. Jamie, you told me about Bigsby the other day, and I kind of blew it off. Like a pitcher trying to get a strike instead of throw a ball. I'm like, nah, I'm waving you off. I'm waving you off in the mound. But yeah, you heard it here first. Tank Bigsby, folks.
There's a world where he just never gets the touches. That that's part of the equation. But go big or go home. And when he does, you're going to be sad you did not have him.
So, Adam, what strategies do you normally find yourself drafting the most? Like, are you going hero RB, robust RB, like balanced situations?
I've been trying to stay more balanced lately. Not that I'm afraid to weight it in one direction or the other, but for the most part, the average build I have is wide receiver, running back, and then letting the rest of the board fall to me. Just trying to get good values and well correlated teams. But the first 4 rounds, I really like to stay balanced.
Yeah, that's what I find myself, because after round 4, I don't think there's a lot of running backs that you really start looking at on the board.
There's an interesting pocket in the 5th, but yeah, it dwindles really fast.
Mm-hmm. And then how do you feel about the quarterback situation this year? Like, what's your approach to the quarterback? Are you doing an early stud? Are you doing a late game, multiple mid-tiers? Where does it fall off? Yeah.
The pocket I've been hitting for the most part, I like the back end of round 6, especially if you get a value on like Jaden Daniels. That's a great part of the draft. I still take Lamar a little bit. I don't take Allen very much. But my favorite quarterback is Herbert in the 7th. Definitely think he could be a big value. I have him ranked higher than Jalen Hurts and Dak Prescott. I think he could be better than Burrow as well, who goes much earlier. So I take a lot of Herbert. But if I am building out my typical roster, I want my second quarterback by Tyler Shuck. Tyler Shuck, Baker Mayfield, and all the guys that go above him, I think are the last call for reliable quarterback 2 production. And then once we hit Malik Willis and everyone behind him, those all profile as QB3s to me. I don't want to be over committed to those guys too often. So I've been tackling.
You put Sam Darnold. Did you put Sam Darnold?
He's in that QB3 territory.
Okay.
I there's a few spikes that he can offer, but last year he averaged like 13 points per game on the season, and losing Clint Kubiak is just not a very inspiring part of the equation this year. So he's fine, but if he's not stacked, I'm not reaching on him.
And then what about Matthew Stafford? Where do you have him? Are you willing to reach on him earlier than he's going? Because I see him going like 2 rounds ahead of Tyler Shuck at some drafts.
Stafford's an interesting one. I think Stafford's a much better pick in redraft as opposed to best ball, because even though he averaged over like 20 points per game last year, it was an MVP season. I don't know if that's going to be as good this year. Probably a few less touchdowns if I had to guess. And without touchdowns, he's just not really cracking the 20-point threshold in your lineup because there's no rushing value. He rarely spikes into the 30-point zone. And if he does, it's like maybe once or twice maximum. So he's a steady player, and I think he's a good quarterback too. But in best ball, I think to win the week, it's a little bit less likely he's the guy you need, I think, in like week 17 when you make all the money. Like he can reliably be top 10, top 12. And that's where in redraft, I know what I'm going to get. I'll start Stafford with some confidence. But if I'm trying to really elevate my roster and shoot for 35, a 40-point game, Stafford rarely has that in the cards anymore. So I'd prefer to take Jackson Dart, who goes like right next to him, because I could get 80 rushing yards and a rushing touchdown from Dart, where Stafford needs 3 touchdowns just to even offer those rushing stats.
And that's a good point because I actually do have Stafford ranked higher in my redraft than I do for my best ball. So in redraft, I do have him top 12.
Interesting.
In best ball, I have him in that like 15, 16 range. So there's a difference between those rankings depending on if you need to start the guy or is he stuck in your lineup for the whole season.
Sorry to cut you off. With Stafford as well, he has a very interesting best ball ADP that is actually kind of fake when you really put it to the test because the stack is so critical, but there's not that many stacking partners in the Rams offense. There's Puka, there's Adams, and then on occasion there's Kyron or one of the super late tight ends. Otherwise, there's no clear stacking partner. So if let's say you're at pick 4 and you have Puka, and then in round 5, team 2 drafts Devontae Adams, you're the only 2 teams that are really, if you're, trying to stack intentionally, eligible to take him. So if you're sitting there in the 9th round and the Adams drafter just passed and you're at pick, like, let's say 100, Stafford's ADP is right there. The ADP tells you to take him, but you can actually leave him alone. And more than half the time when I'm in that situation, he'll make it all the way back to me at like 117 because the Adams drafter isn't on the board to scoop him up. So Stafford's is one of those guys that you can push and usually get away with.
Awesome. So are you able to pull up a draft board so we can take a look and see where these players actually went around?
Sure. I'll show you my most recent Best Ball Mania team. I drafted this one with Steve Schaup on Wednesday, actually, on Friday.
Steve, shout out to Steve.
Yeah, shout out Fanspeak Network. This team is really
Fanspeak. Awesome,
really fun. Actually, I like. We got some really good fallers that made this team very, very exciting. Jefferson was our first round pick. We had pick 10, and then we went Hampton. Travis Achan fell to pick 34, so
that's
that was
awesome.
that was a great instant click. We took Ladd with the chance that maybe we're going to get Herbert, but in this one, Roma Dunze was our wide receiver 3. I didn't love the names at the top of round 6, and we weren't going to reach on Herbert. So we took Tyler Warren, got the elite tight end, and then the QJ Herbert drafter went off at the 6-7 turn. So we got lucky, and Caleb Williams fell to 82, stacked up with Rome. It was like, hello, this is very, very nice. And then we took Rico for our RB3 in the next round. I like his price a lot in the 8th. Then we got Kyler stacked up at 106. And then the rest of the draft was mostly just trying to catch up at wide receiver and build out some depth. So we took Concepcion. Hopefully he is paying off as the wide receiver 1 in Cleveland there. But round 10, one of the later wide receiver 1s you can draft. So given we just needed points, it was worth it. The discount on Chris Rodriguez, I'm not panicking enough on the foot injury to pass there, so a little discount worth it. And then Isaiah Likely is kind of a guy that can really spike at the position. We had Tyler Warren, so can tolerate the risk factor. And then it was just trying to get values that make sense. Omar Cooper fell 12 spots, so scooped him up. Trey Harris I have ranked much higher than ADP, so grabbed him on an offense I like. We got Sean Tucker for the goal line work. Jeremy Bernard, talented rookie. Katron Allen's a rookie I really want to be drafting a lot of right now. I'm very high on Katron. And then lastly, we took Troy Franklin in Denver just to get another piece. So that was a really fun team. In Best Ball Mania, I like this one a lot.
Yeah, the Troy Franklin versus the Pat Bryant debate. I'm more on the Franklin side for this year. But long term, I think it's going to be Pat Bryant, but we just don't know that. You took Rico Dowdle.
Mm-hmm.
There's a few people that I saw that went below him that I prefer. Like I'd rather have Gainwell. I'd honestly rather have Rachaad White over Dowdle.
Really?
So what do you see in Dowdle's game that puts him this high for you?
Dowdle really took over in a way that the Panthers, I think, really trusted last year. Like they paid Chuba Hubbard quite a big contract, and then the market for Dowdle was kind of slim last season. But when he had the chance, he really delivered in the Panthers offense. Those 2 games when he was, the Cowboys revenge game, and then the week after when he had like 30 touches in both of them. he had insane points. I believe it was like 27 and 30 points back-to-back weeks. Like no other player other than like Travion Henderson had like a 2-week stretch like that. So he showed the capability of being a true workhorse and just really crushing. And then you factor in where he goes this season, and I think the market is kind of underestimating the Steelers' offense. I like Mike McCarthy changing things up there. The Steelers have really been needing some vitality on offense for a while. So I think they'll be better. And I don't believe in Jaylen Warren being good enough to hold him off the field. Like Warren versus Chuba Hubbard, I think is kind of close. So Warren, I just don't think it can steal the goal line job. I think that's kind of a toss-up. And then lastly, Rico Dowdle played for Mike McCarthy 2 years ago, and he took the job from Zeke Elliott. If you look at the last like 6 weeks where Rico was the man in Dallas, he was averaging over 100 yards from scrimmage in those games. So he can average 5 targets. He can be the goal line back. I think he's more versatile and just more complete. I worry about him in the 2-minute drill. I think he's going to come off the field. Warren will stay on the field in 2 minutes. But I like the Steelers offense, and I think McCarthy knows how to use him. So I believe he'll be the goal line back. I think he'll be the Steelers running back to own this year.
Adam, two questions in regards to the Steelers came up in the chat, and I swear me and Jorge Edwards were psychic because I was going to ask you how you thought about Jaylen Warren. Jorge said Dowden's going to be the rushing volume guy. Warren's going to be back in the receiver volume. Is that how you see it? Do you see Warren with a nice, predictable
I actually think the third down role is a little bit more split between the two. Last year, I believe Rico and Jaylen Warren actually had the same amount of catches, if not targets. It was one of the two. They were very similar in terms of volume. But Kenneth Gainwell stole that job from Jaylen Warren. Gainwell had way more volume in the passing game. So I'm not totally convinced that Warren will dominate. I think it's going to start out that way. But the way I kind of look at it when it's a little ambiguous and it's kind of close between the two players, if one of them goes down, which one can carry all 3 downs? I don't believe Jaylen Warren's capable of that. I just don't. He's never really been that type of player. He's mostly been stuck behind Najee Harris his entire career, averaging like 45% of the snaps. He was given the chance last year, and then Gainwell kept him off, and Gainwell's been a historic backup. So I just don't see Warren being that good to be the main option. So I think over the course of the year, Warren starts off mostly as the pass catching back, and it kind of dwindles over time. And then an injury will decide which guy steps up. And I think Rico will stay healthier than Warren.
And Jorge Edwards, again, my editor over at Fancy Frames, check out his channel, check out his premium content. He put another dime in the jukebox. He has one more question for us. He's asking just game strategy. And we have another one in the chat, so I might as well get them both together. So
yeah, let's go.
For game strategy, looking at your draft board, underdog being half PPR, do you prefer more home run threats at wide receiver in later rounds of drafts or the PPR possession type of receivers? Do you have a preference?
In best ball, I'm much more inclined to bet on the home run threats that are a little bit less volume driven. Like one of my favorite clicks last year, who would have paid off if not for getting hurt midseason, was Torrey Horton. And Torrey Horton didn't need a lot of targets, didn't need a lot of catches. They were in the end zone. And best ball underdog is a half PPR touchdown weighted game. So I want to be shooting for end zone looks. And like in Denver, Pat Bryant might have more targets than Troy Franklin this year in Franklin. However, the way Franklin will be used, I think when he hits the end zone, when he hits your lineup, it's more likely like a 60-yard and a touchdown game off of like 2-3 catches. Whereas Bryant might have like 5 catches for 50 yards and no score. And that's fine, but it's just not as exciting. The house call more valuable than the check down.
And then
when
Jamie,
I get that real quick, when I get that question, the first thing that pops into my mind is Josh Downs or Alec Pierce. And then you got to look at the difference of where you're drafting them. But Alec Pierce in best ball would be the guy. But in redraft, I would rather have the safety of Josh Downs. But in best ball, it's a whole different scenario.
Loves your Colin Corton. Mike Robb just said to you, Jamie, you're a damn nerd because we're talking all this draft strategy. He wants you to talk about the finer things in life. I'll just leave that one be. Y'all can talk offline. But this final question in the chat, I was trying to get to it earlier. Looking at your draft board, strategy-wise, you think it's smarter? We already talked about QB, but do you think it's smarter to fade tight end this year?
Yes. In general, you can always get away with fading tight end.
That's a.
And you're always going to like your builds a little bit more.
Where are you comfortable at with that? Like, is Sam Laporta your cutoff? Travis Kelce? Where do you release the cockpit?
I'll wait longer than you probably think. I don't mind my QB1 being Dallas Goedert or even Chigo Okonkwo sometimes. I've drafted some teams with just Chig and Freiermuth at tight end and just believing that my player takes will carry me.
So you heard that, Jorge. We're all big on Chig in this room.
Hell yeah.
Chig's in a good spot. Chig should be good. Depends on who they sign this offseason. But in terms of just routes at tight end, definitely a safe bet. I don't believe in Ben Sennett anymore. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, same. 150 yards his first 3 years. It's like, come on, what are we doing?
The RAS score lied to us.
Yeah, but with tight end though, like you took Tyler Warren in the 6th.
Yeah,
that is insane value. I can't pass that up because I think Tyler Warren and Loveland should have same value. But then people are taking Warren in the 2nd, 3rd round, where I think there's a conversation where like Warren and Loveland should be up there with McBride or McBride lower.
I think because they're like just year 2 players and it's like you're still kind of projecting the breakout. There's the tax we got to pay on Chicago, the Ben Johnson system, and then Tyler Warren's quarterback situation a little bit less safe, with Daniel Jones and his injury production. But with Michael Pittman leaving, that's way more targets out the door than DJ Moore leaving. So I definitely trust Tyler Warren. His volume, I think, is absolutely safe to project. He's one of the players I've been coming around to more. But I do think just from like a talent standpoint, we kind of just spoke about that with Alec Pierce versus Josh Downs. I would say Loveland can give you like a 150-yard game a little bit more easily than Tyler Warren. But Warren probably has more like 80-yard games in the tank than Loveland does.
Yeah, and Adam does know ball. Go follow him at Nice and Blunt. He does drafts every day. But for
more importantly, is Adam going to the Fantasy Football Expo?
I don't have the travel budget.
Man, you can stay with us.
I can't even afford the ticket, man. when gas is $6 a gallon and shit in California is expensive as fuck, it's just I don't have the money to travel.
So with the tight ends though, like I'm willing to wait until the 9th round to get like a Harold Fannin, George Kittle, and then come back with like Kelce. So if I have 2 of those 3 guys, I think I'm pretty set. Even Kyle Pitts.
That's been your guy this offseason, Kittle.
Like Kittle, I think is going underrated. Kelsey's going to have his last year, but then also like Kyle Pitts is in that area. And you mentioned Dallas Goedert, I believe.
Yeah. Tight end's weird because like there's so many names I think are actually like great values where they go, but it's like you keep looking down the board. It's like, well, there's still really good ones left.
Might as well wait, right?
Yeah. I think as long as you have 2 by like Juwan Johnson, there's a couple I don't like to take too often, but in general, none of them are like so poorly mispriced where you're going to hate your team. I don't take much Ferguson. I'll tell you that.
Yeah. He's more touchdown dependent and I don't know. But if you get like one of the top guys, like a Warren, are you more comfortable stopping at 2 tight ends if you get someone like a Kelce or Goddard, Kittle, and then just not worry about your 3rd?
Yeah, it becomes a little bit expensive at times. And like round 6, like the players I'm passing on, especially those quarterbacks. I got lucky in this draft where I got Caleb at 82. That normally never happens. But I don't know if I would like my quarterback room as much if that didn't happen. So, the more early I take tight end 1, the much more likely I am to stop at 2. But it all depends on the team. Every team is different. Some teams can just tolerate more that extra pick. There's usually one luxury pick that I make. So one position that maybe doesn't need that extra name, but by tacking it on, you feel like you have like just a little extra advantage at that position.
Adam,
How do
I
you
have a
feel
question for you.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm looking at your board, and I need glasses, so forgive me. I don't know what picks these are, so just bear with me. Y'all can put the old jokes in the chat. There's a little draft pocket at wide receiver deep. This is what I like to look at. You got your Michael Wilson, your Josh Downs, his former partner in crime there at the Colts, Michael Pittman, who moved on. You got Godwin. And to wait a couple picks, you got Jacoby Myers, who I don't know. I think the ADP may be higher than I think so, and then Ricky Purcell. Is there a winner between those guys? Do you have them ranked a certain way, or are they just next man up to you? Because that's kind of where I struggle filling the flex spots in my leagues.
I think round 9 has one of the most valuable pockets of receiver on the board, actually. Like round 6, which is the top round on the screen that we see Christian Watson, Brian Thomas. I think every receiver that goes after him, maybe excluding Tyson, is a huge like variable in terms of where they're actually going to finish. I think there's a big tier break. So I actually consider wide receiver very flat starting at the top of round 6. And where I think it ends is around Matthew Golden, Michael Pittman, Ricky Pearsall, that 9th, 10th round. I think once you hit Concepcion, it's over. So I think all of them are really, really great picks. Wilson, I take the least because I don't like Arizona as much, but he could crush if last year repeats. I think the bet on Godwin and Pearsall only scares me because of injury, but they're both great players. And then just to lock up volume, I draft Michael Pittman the most in this range. I think Pittman could actually be just as, if not more valuable than DK Metcalf. And then similar to the Dowdle argument I made with Mike McCarthy, I think people are just kind of sleeping on that offense. So I take a lot of Pittman. He also falls quite often. Like if he is ever in there in the 10th, I'm clicking that instantly. I love Michael Pittman this year.
I know Jamie's big on Godwin.
Yeah.
Are you scared of Godwin at all? Injuries and nothing? You think he's good for you?
A little bit. I'm also scared of being a full fade on him. So I do scoop him up, but I'm more inclined to just take Jalen McMillan.
Okay.
So I do love Jacoby Myers. It's just the fact that he has such a boring name. If his name was like Jacoby Savage or Jacoby Rocket, the dude would skyrocket up boards. It's people are ignoring him.
His last name is actually pronounced Meyers. He's very meh.
Yeah.
But if you think of last year, to you guys' point, last year, the injuries and then Brian Thomas was the other. Myers came on after the trade by default. He's probably going to take a bit of a back seat. No, was he the wide receiver 3 right now on the roster? I think.
I think from a plan standpoint, they're probably not using him as much as they did down the stretch. But then at the end of the day, they not only traded for him, they gave him a contract extension. So they have to believe in him somewhat, but he's just rarely ever giving you 100 yards. The touchdowns, they're going to be all over the place in Jacksonville. So he's the least compelling click of those names. But I think in redraft, he's much more appropriate from like a week to week. I know what I'm going to get.
And Jorge.
Thoughts on the Pittman versus Metcalf on best ball? Back to those two guys.
So
At
for
this
me,
point-
I actually have Pittman over Metcalf. And straight up. But the value that you're going to get on Pittman, I prefer the Pittman for sure.
I could see this kind of look like the Seahawks back in the day when they had Metcalf and Lockett, where all the hype is on Metcalf, but Lockett's just like half a point behind him on the points per game scale. I think they're actually very close together, but I think both of them are actually undervalued. I think Metcalf in that 6-7 turn is one of the only names I like, especially if Quentin Johnston's off the board. So I think he can deliver, and I think he's going to be a little less like consistent, or like some games he'll pop off and just look unguardable. but like week to week, I think you're going to get much more constant numbers out of Michael Pittman that on the season look either identical or even better. Like I could see Pittman just fit the offense perfectly, and Rodgers loves him. I also have this thing in the back of my mind, just from like a broadcaster standpoint. Are you telling me that the Pitt man in Pittsburgh is not going to lean into the superhero element of it a little bit? You know, here comes the Pitt man with another touchdown. I could see that be like a little, you know, a bit that they kind of lean into, perhaps.
Pepper Tony's in the chat.
What's up, Pepper Tony?
Love Pepper Tony. Yes.
And then we got Infinite Number of Monkeys, who shows up late, right? So in case you don't watch the show, we're at the end of it. The advice I have for you, since you showed up late, take nothing but tight ends and defensive tackles in your drafts. There, you do that. Jamie, what's his?
Don't do that.
Infinite Number of Monkeys. What's his name? My name is what?
My name is Jeff.
Got to get that in. All right, we're back.
So real quick for nice and blunt, with this team that you got pulled up, if this team makes the playoffs for the big money, which player do you think carries it to the finals?
I love the playoff schedule for the Chargers with Omarion Hampton as well as Justin Jefferson.
And you got Ladd McConkey, so yes.
Yeah, I think Jefferson is going to really help you get there, because when you look at his playoff schedule, it is week 15, home to the Detroit Lions. That's not a secondary you're afraid of. Historically, that division rivalry, Jefferson shows up, especially at home. So love Jefferson week 15. And then week 16, this is December we're talking about. Weather's a problem. This is a home game again against Washington, one of the worst secondaries in the league last year. So Jefferson's going to go off again in week 16. And then week 17, you know, if he helps you get there, he's got the Jets on the road. That's going to be a blowout. So he might get benched in the fourth quarter, but he's probably going to put up 100 yards and a touchdown before that happens. So I love Jefferson this year. I'm a little bit worried about my receiver depth on this team, so I'm hopeful that one of these rookies breaks out. But I think this Rome and Caleb stack is going to be very critical as well. If there's one problem on this team, it might be the receiver depth. Everything else, though, I'm very happy with for the most part.
Looking forward to the expo this year, fellas. That's Steve Smith's Band-Aid party. All right,
find us. I'll buy you a beer.
You'll see Jamie down there with a Jamie Perot jersey. You'll see me, Daddy P. Hunter jersey. You'll see me and Jorge Edwards on the IDP panel down at the expo. We're on the panel. Don't know anything about offense over here. That's why I'm on this chat, Steve. Trying to learn from these two guys everything I can. I'm trying to soak it up. You know what's funny, Adam? Most of all of the advice Jamie has given me this offseason, it's like a mirror image. You've said all the same things, Jamie. I mean, pat yourself on the back. Talking about Kaytron Allen. You're talking about all of those wide receivers late. You know, it's like the same. It's like y'all are like just sharing Morse code over there. Y'all can read each other's minds.
It's almost like I tune into Nice and Blunt's channel every night. And we bounce back and forth on each other. So maybe that's something that has to do with it.
Maybe Jamie just knows ball. Maybe Jamie's just ready to compete, win some big money.
Hell yeah. So Adam, one last question. I need the boldest prediction from you for one of your picks and any of your drafts so far.
Anything.
Anything. Just
anything. What do you want? Like a league winner take, or just like a fade at all costs type of take?
Well, let's give one each. One league winner, one fade.
Put me on the spot a little bit, but I would say you need at least one Charger. Like I've taken at least one Charger on every team, and like I just haven't found a single voice in the fantasy space that is anti-Charger and is telling you that like you should be fading really any of them. So I want Herbert as much as possible. But if you can only have one other one, give me Omarion Hampton. I think Hampton has the potential to really, really deliver for a long time. But when You want to be a year early on Hampton rather than a year late, in my opinion. And
it's funny that you say that because I've been going after Vidal super late and even taking some Keaton Mitchell just because I want a piece of those Chargers.
just take the main guy, man. Just take the best guy. Give me the first round pick that runs a 4.4 at 220 plus pounds, built to last, true 3-down back. Give me Hampton.
Now, are you fading all the Browns just because they suck as an
Um,
organization?
I'm actually taking more Quinshon Judkins a little bit. Judkins, I think, is a safe volume bet. I've been fading Fannin lately. Fannin still hasn't practiced, so I've been fading Fannin a little bit. But I've been warming up to Denzel Boston. I will say that.
So, yeah, I just drafted Boston today in a rookie draft. He fell to me at the 206. What are you guys doing, man? He should be a end of the first round, beginning of the second round pick for rookie drafts.
So, question. Let me pick your brain. Same thing back to you. Okay. If I was to fade somebody, Bucky Irving. Yeah. You feel it?
Yeah.
Okay.
My
All right.
bags
Just
look
checking.
great.
I'm not crazy. Now, here's where me and Jamie kind of split the bowling pins. I'm going to ask you about Tyrone Tracy. If you're going late in drafts, I mean, do you trust in Cam Scadaboo? He didn't have a 100-yard season last year. I know everybody likes the guy, but as a late dart throw, I've been making it. He's been telling me no. Tell us your truth, my friend.
I believe it's Cam Scadaboo.
Okay,
I believe it's
fair enough.
Scadaboo.
Fair enough. Y'all two are
Uh,
twins.
It's worth the risk, man. It's worth the risk. I'm an asthmatic. I grew up with asthma, so I'm willing to, put that aside. I don't need to look up to him as a personal role model to know that he can play ball. And I'd be terrified of Scadaboo in Dynasty.
Right.
I'd be trying to sell Scadaboo in
He plays
Dynasty
so
for
hard,
sure.
yeah. Mhm.
Give him 4 years. I could see him out of the league, honestly. Like very quick. Well, I think when he falls off a cliff, it's gonna be fast.
Right.
But he just has too much the chip on his shoulder, man. I don't think he's gonna give up. He's just not gonna quit. He's just gonna keep churning out yards, and his pass catching prowess, his stats when he was healthy, Steve, you might be underestimated because like he was averaging over 100 yards from scrimmage his last 5 healthy games with like 5 touchdowns in those 5 games with 4 catches per game. The man was he was averaging like 18 fantasy points in half PPR. So if you're getting that in round 4, until he gets hurt, that's an instant advance piece in your lineup. It's just, do you think he stays healthy? If he does, you're going to be sad you faded him.
Gotcha.
So I got one last question before we get out of here. I need to know your draft regret. So one player that you clicked on and you instantly just felt disgusted and regretted it. Is there a player out there?
When you set this question up, there's a story that came to mind, and maybe I'll tell it after this question. But lately, I don't like taking Breece Hall. I really don't like it. When you look at Breece Hall last year, he might have had like a few games with like 80, 90 yards from scrimmage, but the touchdowns just never happen with consistency. He's way more talented. I loved him coming out of college, but he's just never paid off in the Jets offense with like what you expect. And there's that 1 year with Zach Wilson where he had a lot of receptions, but like otherwise he's just really overrated. And I just don't want to be making a bet on the Jets running back in the top of the 3rd round when you might not get 5 touchdowns out of the player. I think that's a really gross click for me to make. I don't like Trey McBride very much either. It's got to be expensive for me to feel like it was not worth my time. But
yeah, you mentioned Breece Hall. Like, give me a Devonta Smith, the Olave, Higgins, George Pickens over him for sure.
I weight my picks, especially for like redraft on the team I'm going to care most about, on like entertainment value. And I got to watch these players play on Sunday. I'm rooting for them to find the end zone and deliver. I don't want to be stuck watching Jets games Fuck that.
So humor me, okay?
Uh-huh.
Brees Hall. Who would you rather, Brees Hall or Kyron Williams?
Kyron.
Oh, give me Brees.
Brees Hall or Travis, however you say his name now.
Travis
Etienne?
Etienne.
A-Chain.
I'll take
Yeah.
Travis.
I'll
Okay,
take
how
Travis.
about Brees Hall, Javonte Williams?
Ooh, that's close.
It's much closer in redraft. I'm actually
Yes.
taking Javonte.
I feel good about that too.
Yeah, give me Javonte.
All right, last one, because I know how you guys feel about Scadaboo and Judkins. I was listening. Brees Hall or Travion Henderson?
Oh, Brees Hall for sure. And that's like a round or two difference.
Adam's holding back.
It's close, but I'd go
Come
Breeze.
on.
I go Breeze.
So Fourth and Fancy came on. They said, "What's up, fellas?" And Jorge's back. He wants on this chat bad. He's saying, "Karen, the reason I brought those names up, couple best balls I'm in right now, they're going around later than Brees Hall, and most of those guys you would like. So there's another strategy there. You can probably get a free player before you go get that. But yeah, excellent point, fellas.
From a single game standpoint, I think Brees Hall might have the highest spike of those names. Like you might get one game where Brees drops 36 and nobody else can give you 36. But week to week, the guy that's going to hit 20 points more often is definitely Kyron Williams.
Yeah,
Definitely see that.
100% agree.
So we're not drafting a team today? I thought we might be drafting a team.
Well, are you going live tonight? Because Nice and Blunt goes live almost every night.
I
so
go
if you
live
want to
pretty
see
late.
a live draft.
If you
I-
have the time,
I'm
I
always
can do
available.
one. I could do one if you have the time.
Go ahead, Jamie. Go ahead. I mean, no one's going anywhere.
You know
You got a loaded chat room. I didn't expect this. Adam, we haven't done a podcast in like 2 weeks. I told everybody I've talked enough defense. My mind's blown. Jamie's like, wait a minute. I got a guess. So I'm surprised everybody's here. Yeah, if you guys got time, go right ahead.
If you want to do a draft, I'm willing to do a draft right now, live on air. Steve, you could just go hang out with your kids. Me and
I'm with you guys. Come on, let's do it.
Yeah, let's draft
Let's
it
do it.
together.
let's pull it up. Pull up a draft. Let's
Yeah,
do
go for
this.
You have my screen share at the moment, but
Well, here, why don't you pull up one of yours and I'll just Venmo you the cost of it.
if
It'll
you
be on
want,
me. Yes. Yeah, I'll let you control it.
While you're
Okay.
doing that, I'm just gonna throw a little fodder into the thing. You got guys throwing Venmo into a best ball so Adam could draft. You got another guy in the audience with his toddler watching this from a podcast. You got toddlers, we're teaching them to gamble. You got other guys in the chat. Steve wants you to go back and forth. Infinite Battle of Monkeys he wants a draft.
Yes.
And where the heck is our there he is. Mike Robb hasn't said anything in a while. He's calling us you damn nerds. So yeah, you got a rowdy crowd tonight. You might as well throw a draft up there, James.
And I literally just heard Layla in the background.
yeah, Leia wants some attention.
Yeah, so Leia definitely wants to draft. That's Adam's cat. She's awesome.
Would you are you down to hop into this poodle given the advanced structure? I was hyping it up.
Let's do
earlier.
it. Yes, let's do a poodle.
Sure. You want a countdown or get a chance?
No, let's just do it.
All right, let's go. There's 5 spots. If someone wants to join the poodle,
5 spots left. If
Yeah,
you're
let's
in the
go.
live chat, jump into poodle.
let me give my cat a little food so she doesn't go crazy.
But Jamie, while he's feeding his cat, explain to people like they're 5. What do they got to do? They got to go on Underdog and jump in this thing?
Yeah, go on Underdog. If you've never been on Underdog before, put in the code BLUNT and you get like a $50 match. So as soon as you deposit and hop in a draft, they're going to put $50 free right in your account.
Promo code BLUNT, play 5, get 50. Yo, we pulled a 101. We're in
Yes.
business here.
Oh, all right. So this is a huge debate. Are we going Bijan or Gibbs? I want to hear from you.
I'm taking Gibbs.
Okay, so I'm more of Bijan, but I don't oppose Gibbs.
I don't get the 101 too often, so my exposure to these top players is lower than I would like it to be. So if I just have the chance to take him, if I pulled a 102, I wouldn't expect it. So I just take Gibbs. But he's my true 101.
Yeah, I don't hate it.
Do you want Bijan? I don't mind taking
No,
Bijan.
no, well, let's go Gibbs, man.
Let me ask you guys. That's a very common thing this year. The Gibbs. Is it because there's no more Montgomery and no one cares about Pacheco? Is that why Gibbs is now crowned the number one over Bijan, or do you have a different theory?
I think it is the lack of Dave Montgomery. If you go back 2 years, those last 4 games when Montgomery was out, Gibbs was averaging like 28 touches per game, and he was just crushing. Those are just, it's just a higher ceiling from what I think Bijan can offer. It's not that Bijan can't drop 50, but like I think that one game that's going to be the highest at running back is a little bit more likely to come from Gibbs than Bijan. I also feel a little bit better about just the Lions offense in general compared to Atlanta, but they're both great picks.
So like in redraft, I guess I would be more Bijan, but the way you just said it, yeah, you want those spike weeks, right?
It's worth betting on. They're both great though. But shout out Who Hames in the chat. What's up? What's up, fam?
Who Hames? Yeah, I just sent him the link. So after the stream, Who Hames, me and you got some stuff to talk about.
Yeah, that's awesome. I think Who Hames actually gave me a little sneak peek on that.
Which one? Handily created our intro in the beginning. You know, you're bobbing your head. That's what Who Hames does. He's like Batman in the community. He just cleans up Gotham City one crime caper at a time. Appreciate you, Who Hames. Thanks for showing up.
Yeah, Who Hames has been on this channel before. We had an episode with him. So you want to go back and listen to that one.
Who Hames, great man in the space. Good friend of the channel as well. Subscribe to Who Hames if you haven't done so. So I got a question for Steve. Have you drafted any best ball teams?
I've done a couple this offseason, but like I've done them on Sleeper. I haven't been on Underdog at all.
Okay, gotcha. Is there a direction you like to go with the 2-3 turn? Because I think the 2-3 turn is actually very difficult. There's a lot of weird ADPs I don't like in that spot.
Well, you know, for me, I play with a lot of IDPs, so it throws me off. But usually those first, you know, the third to the fourth, I've been doing a lot of, the Omari Hampton's been hanging out. Chase Brown the other day came to me. I'm like, this is a 12-teamer. You know what I mean? And I kind of held my breath on it. But that's what I've been doing. The Derrick Henry fills that all those guys kind of fall in there. But to answer your question, like Superflex, I'm still high in Dak Prescott. He's going like QB8 off the board. So I'm I kind of like to do that. Maybe stack him with, George Pickens if I can.
Pickens,
in the third or fourth. Yeah.
Where do you rank my boy Herbert in Superflex?
Herbert, that's a good question. Herbert's been going down the board here. Herbert went, because we're in one right now. He went later, man. He went, let me find him. Hold on. Let me pull this up. He went 2.9. He didn't go later. He was 2.9 in our last one. Again, that's IDP, but like the IDPs didn't start coming off the board to like the 5th round.
Gotcha.
So yeah, I like Dak and Herbert. Yeah, Dak and Herbert seems to be a good spot. Even Trevor Lawrence, if I miss out on one of those, I'm happy with taking Trevor Lawrence. Kyler Murray seems to be a great value because I have him in like a top 12. There's a world where he could be a top 12 quarterback, but you're getting him so freaking late.
So I think I know the answer to this one. When you're looking in like the 6th round, you got the Kyler Murrays, you get the Sam Darnolds. I know what you guys said. There's another QB that falls in there, the Tyler Show. How do you feel about?
We talked about Shuck earlier.
I know you do. I was curious what Adam says.
Well, we're about to be on the clock, so I'd like to make this pick first.
Okay. I love Nico. I love the Pickens.
I think the top ADP here is way easier to trust than anybody remaining, and I love the next pocket for like grabbing another running back. So I'm totally down to just go Nico and Pickens.
Yeah, I mean we got the best running back on the board, so why not just go receiver?
And we don't have to stack up CJ Stroud. It's not completely necessary. So
Well, we can get Dak or Golf even later.
we got options.
We got options. We got options. So what was the question, Steve?
Well, I was curious. I mean, we can wait for the picks, like Adam said. We can wait. I was curious about Tyler Show. How you guys view him? Because he had a good little run halfway through the season. If you're paying attention to it, you know.
Yeah, those last 6 games, or maybe it was 5. I think it was 6 games for Shuck. He averaged over 19 points per game, which is, very reliable production. That's just a little bit less than what Stafford was averaging last year. So nothing wrong with that. I do like the Kellen Moore offense. I think they take a bit of a leap this year. I want a piece of that system. And then bring in Jordan Tyson. Last year Shuck didn't play with Shaheed. So just another weapon. Should be a good system. And their defense is just not quite good enough to force them into winning with only 20 points. They're going to be in a bunch of shootouts. So I like their offense a lot this year. Shuck is a clear top 20 play that any given week could hit top 10 numbers. So he's one of my preferred backstop QB2s.
So when I was trying to sell Steve on Shuck, I mentioned to him, I was like, hey, look at the 10 games that he actually played. 5 of those were top 12.
You did.
0 were outside the top 24.
Mm-hmm.
So how could you just ignore a guy that puts up top 12 numbers half of the games that he plays?
Yeah, very underrated rushing stats that kept him very consistent. It was you never had less than 17 points out of him, which is it's good to have those major spikes. Maybe he was a bit lacking in that department. I don't think he hit more than 25, but if you drop only 10 points at quarterback one week, you can be screwed. So locking up a safe floor, very valuable with him. Looks like we're coming back around. Is there how do you guys feel about running back around? Because one of my favorite ways to take to approach the pick 1 with Gibbs is the wide receiver at the 2-3 turn, and then grabbing 2 of these running backs here, because you're never going to get values like this ever again.
Me, I don't know who's in the chat that's listening, but I love me some Montgomery. I love me some Swift. And I'm also a fan of Henderson.
Okay. I'm definitely down for Swift. He's one of my most drafted. So we got the bring back as well.
Judkins is another one. He's more of a safe play. So if you had a debate between Monty and Judkins,
well,
both bad offenses, right?
Mm-hmm.
To your point, though, that's what I was saying earlier. It's smart to go wide receiver first, especially if you can get a St. Brown or to kind of hedge the position. Because I don't think I've ever seen running back this deep like this, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th round. You're getting play, and then we're talking about Swift now, Montgomery. I mean, there's some good value this year just waiting.
I'm definitely taking Swift here. And then the question is, do you guys really want to lobby for one of these specific running backs, or would you be just down to just take the fall on Evans? We got 10 seconds. I'm between Evans and Quinshon, Tootin or Montgomery.
I think we can find a receiver next round.
Okay. You mentioned Monty, but I think because we have Nico, I kind of want to take a different team. So if it's all right.
Yeah. Perfect. Yeah. I love that. So
I don't have a massive preference there on running backs, but I've been trying to click Judkins just a little bit more often. That's kind of the main motivator for me.
Yeah, I don't hate that, man. So my best ball rankings, I mean, I got Monty and Swift and Henderson, Tootin and Judkins back to back. And it's all about the tier.
Mm-hmm.
And it doesn't matter which player you grab. If they're all in the same tier, they're going to score the same. But for this situation where we do already have Nico, even though Monty's at the top of my tier, I'm willing to take a Judkins who's at the bottom of my tier.
The tier absolutely makes them kind of interchangeable, but from like a talent standpoint, I think Judkins is the most talented, like most, youngest player. So possibly the most likely to stay healthy. But then Montgomery and Houston, they're going to use him a lot. I don't love his O-line, but the Browns better than I do, Jamie. So is there a reason you put Judkins at the bottom of the tier?
Just because it's the Browns.
Right. Okay.
The reason that I do like him a lot, though, is because he has a coach coming from Baltimore. They used Henry so much, and I could see Judkins just being used over and over again. I know they have Samson. Samson's a different type of running back. He may take 25 to 30% of the snaps, but it's going to be Judkins.
I had him on my redraft team last year. He kind of saved me, actually, because I got him off the waiver wire and my running back room was thin. But the volume week to week is just kind of unquestioned. Like, he had no reps in training camp, and then by week 2, he was getting like 20 touches a game. It happened fast, where they just commit to him overwhelmingly without even really giving anyone a chance. So Jerome Ford is gone, and Samson's mostly just like a pass catcher. So I think the volume is just like really safe with Judkins. But
and we see Nick Chubb do it on the Browns, even though they sucked. He was like a top 12 type running back.
Yeah, I remember when he was top 5.
Yeah, Judkins can easily do that, and you're getting him so freaking late.
He seems good where he's going. And then from like the build standpoint, I kind of like getting 2 of these 5th rounders together because it's just a little bit less common as well.
Yeah.
Like
now we have options to choose value wise at wide receiver, tight end, quarterback. I saw after we took Judkins, there was a huge run on running backs. Monty went, Tootin went, Henderson went, Bucky went way too early, in my opinion.
Price
went way too early, also.
Yeah, Price can fall.
But now we're seeing a big run on these receivers.
The receiver position at this late in the 6th round is usually not quite worth it. But the fact we have Nico and Pickens locking it down, two anchors there, I'm not going to panic at all. With this pick, though, there's not that many clicks I really like. I think if this guy leaves us Caleb, I'd be down to just pair him with Swift and just kind of move on. I don't think you have to stack up Caleb. It's nicer to have, but
Adam, would you say the 6th round, 7th round is when you start looking at your QB1, or do you do it later?
Yeah, definitely. And with Caleb coming off the board, I do like Herbert. Wouldn't hate pairing with QJ. It's a little bit forced, though. I wouldn't mind DK Metcalf here, but
well, let's skip DK because I think we talked about him earlier.
Shit, my bad. But we just went off.
All right, so DK went. We took him.
We could take Dak stacked up.
Let's take Dak because I was going to say Dak or Caleb would have been one of my picks.
Because
if you look at the board at QB, you got a lot of options. You have the Prescott, you got Herbert, you have Dak. You look at what the other positions you're just looking at, it's very watered down, is it not? So this looks like a sweet spot.
Yeah, the running backs here don't inspire me. I don't like Chuba. I don't really love Ramondre very much.
Same. Yeah.
I'll tolerate Pollard, but he's not the same as Judkins or Swift. So having 3 running backs already, it's just not my like desired position. Yo, what's up, Bayou?
Oh, Bayou.
Jamie, you know this guy, don't you?
I love Bayou, man. I created his intro and made his background music.
Heck yeah.
Bayou's my man, dude.
Bayou's
go to the swamp. Subscribe to Bayou Bengal because you will not regret it.
We'll have to get Bayou on the show too one of these days as well.
Bayou, man, you're our next guest.
So the team so far is pretty balanced. Our receiver room looks fine. Running back looks good. And then we got the stack with Dak. So far, nothing to complain about no issues at all.
Like,
Is-
no,
is-
I do hate Metcalf just because I do like Pittman over him. I mentioned
Well, who
earlier.
would you have taken there? You would have took Pittman outright, or who would you have taken? instead of Pittman?
No, I might even have went like Dak Herbert back to back.
Oh,
Well,
That's
Herbert
that's
has
a
been kind of
possibility.
Herbert's been getting tougher to backstack lately because Quentin Johnson has recently steamed up.
But we do have the Trey Harris back stack.
We do.
Or the Njoku in the 20th.
I've been trying to cool it on them a little bit, especially in Njoku, just because I had so much of Njoku before he signed with the Chargers. So it's kind of like I lucked into a lot of stacks because I take Herbert a lot too, and I've been a little bit more excited to just take Gadsden at like 150 than Njoku at 200. But they're all solid. I just have so many Chargers investments. I'm starting to diversify a little bit more. Because an injury could possibly burn me, but I still have
question to
plenty.
Adam and Jamie. Jordan Addison just went. You know, a couple of years ago, we were talking about, oh, he's a complimentary QB1 fantasy value on a QB2 on his team. He's going so late this year. Is it worth it to kind of take a shot and see what we have, or are we so afraid of this? What do you guys think?
I'm not afraid. I think for best ball especially, he fits really nicely. He's a deep shot waiting to happen.
I also think the signing of Juwan Jennings kind of puts a damper on Addison. So I'd rather just skip Addison and maybe take the dip on Jennings later on.
I'm not as excited on Addison as I was before the Jennings signing, but I'm still drafting Addison more frequently than Juwan. Juwan, I think, is like the odd man out because Jefferson's not going anywhere. Addison has a lot of commitment from the Vikings as well. So Juwan is more like the three receiver set type of play, and I still trust
Godwin. Godwin went right after Addison. Would you rather have Godwin or Addison?
Addison.
Really?
Yeah.
See, I'm the opposite.
I'd rather have
Jaden Reed, who just went at this pick.
You didn't offer. I prefer Jaden Reed over both of them too.
Well, there you go. We love Jaden Reed on this episode. Hell yeah.
I've been getting a lot of Jaden Reed this year. I'll tell you, I got him super late. 17.10 in this last best ball I did.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there is a receiver on the board that I'd actually rather have. Oh, he just went. Dang it. Josh Downs, I was going to say, would have been a great pick.
This fall on T-Law, I think, is just worth taking, honestly.
Yeah, you have to take T-Law right here.
Question is, do we stack him with Myers?
Ooh, I was going to say T-Law or one of the Laporta Fannin, but I don't hate the Myers pick. Because, like I said, if Myers' last name was like Jacoby Strong, he would go higher.
Would he go higher if his first name was Oscar?
Probably. But no, I do love that stack right there. That's perfect.
Yeah, why not? Get a little different with T-Law on this side of the board. I also don't have a ton of T-Law Myers teams, so diversifying. And like I was mentioning, they still gave him the contract. It's not like he's going to disappear. It just feels a little bit uninspiring.
And we also have the option to backstack Broughton Strange.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely some good backstacks, but Myers lines up nicely there. So far, I think the team is pretty balanced. We still don't have a tight end yet, but the values I think that can make it to us in the next round are still interesting, still worth it in my opinion. But looks like Infinite Number of Monkeys likes Ramondre a lot. Not my favorite click.
Yeah, I think he's going to take a step back this year.
At some point, you got to assume Travion's their intended workhorse, but the fumbling issues will. I don't think he's going to stay on the field if he fumbles again.
And the confusion is, they went on a run for the championship, right? And they wanted to use the vet as opposed to the rookie. But now Henderson has a year under his belt. What says that he's not going to get more work this year?
Yeah, if he can deliver in the pass protection skill set, I think he'll stay on the field. He's not as big as Ramondre, obviously, just like from a frame standpoint, he's not profiling the same way. But in terms of just breakaway speed and true talent, the spikes are going to come much higher with Travion than Ramondre. It's not as fun to bet on Ramondre. Do you have a stance, Steve, on which one of the two?
You know, and I was thinking about this when he was talking. I have some Stevenson shares from back in the day. We keep saying how many years in a row now, fade Stevenson, and he just keeps hanging around like a garbage pail kid.
Mm-hmm.
He just keeps, a Rolling Stone gathers no moss. I guess I'm going to hold him until I can't use him anymore, and that's kind of my strategy of running back. They're old, they're decaying. If I can't trade them, you know what I mean? But I don't have a stance. Hendrickson came on at the end of the year, if you guys remember. It was Stevenson, and I forget the other guy. He was a nobody, no drafted rookie came on. Remember? They were using him for a couple games. So I don't even think the Patriots know, to be honest. But eventually it's Henderson's ball. It's Henderson's team. I just don't know if it'll be this year or not. But no stance on those guys. In fact, I don't think I've drafted any of them in the best ball this year.
So we're on the clock here.
I'm down to go Aaron Jones here.
I love me some Aaron Jones.
We could go C-Rod because he pairs with T-Law, but I don't think I want to.
No. So are we looking to skip the tight end position?
I don't think we got a great value that I love. Meanwhile, we got the little fall on Romeo Doubs.
I love me some Dubes, man.
I'm willing to just take the fall there. I don't see many receivers that are capable of putting up the same stats as him. So if you're down, Jamie, let's go.
Yeah, let's go Dubes. Like, I was the biggest Dubes hater up until this point. Now that he's on the Patriots, I'm all for Romeo Dubes. I used to call him Romeo Dummy.
Okay.
Because I didn't like his role with the Packers, but now he's a Patriot. He's going to be the number 2.
So let me ask you about the Jacksonville running back backfield. Do you think it's locked down? Because if it's not, you can get a Chris Rodriguez 11.3, and that's the cheaper flyer. I'm just curious, you guys.
Well, he's hurt right now. He might be falling. I don't see Rodriguez.
For the injury, I'd be taking C-Rod more often. But right now, it's a little ambiguous. So I've been clicking Tootin more just to ensure that I have him. Because one really bad report, and Beischel Tootin could move up a full round. There's a chance that price really changes if the reports are terrible for Rodriguez. But as he falls deeper into the 11th round, I take him more often. Once he's past Mason, I think he's still the best click to take. I would rather have him over JCM. I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
And here's another one for you guys. Aaron Jones went 10th, end of 10th, and then you had Jordan Mason followed up. Not too many picks after that, right? Mm-hmm. Aaron Jones, Jordan Mason. I know in a redraft it's Jones's team followed by Mason, but Mason's touchdown dependent. Would he not be the better value in a best ball? I'm just curious, you guys. What do you guys think about that?
Well, my stance is looking at what happened on the field last year, and it was pretty clear to me Aaron Jones was by far more talented and more effective than Jordan Mason in that system. And part of it may have had something to do with J.J. McCarthy holding the offense back. But, for me, as long as Aaron Jones doesn't get hurt, he keeps the job, and he also catches the passes. Mason has never had more than 2 targets in a game, never really delivered more than 1 catch, just to keep the defense honest. So I see a more versatile role out of Aaron Jones. And while he's old and probably inevitably goes down, when he's on the field, if I'm only starting one Viking, give me Aaron Jones.
And then you also have Claiborne, who will take over for Aaron Jones if he gets hurt. And that's not going to spike up the Mason role. Mason's going to have the same role no matter what.
Yeah, very good. Mason is not dipping into the target share. He could be the goal line back, which might be the piece you need. So I still take him on occasion, but Claiborne caught 23 and 28 passes last 2 years. Dang, I kind of wanted Travis Hunter there. We waited for a while, so I think taking Strange makes plenty of sense. We need a tight end.
I like Strange. I like Chig. I like Woody Marks here.
I'm totally
I
down
like
for Strange and
Naylor.
Chig
Yeah, let's go. Let's double it up
for sure.
because I can
down
see
for that.
both of them being top 12 upside
They
every
both
week.
have the same bye week though. Maybe would you rather have Hunter Henry?
Ooh,
We'll take 3 anyways. I'm not afraid. Let's go Chig. We were in agreement on that.
Yeah, let's do it.
We'll take a third anyway. Just has to be a non-week 7 bye for the
Yeah.
third.
So since we didn't get one of the top guys, we definitely need a third, maybe even a fourth. Is this a build that you would take a fourth?
Probably not. Just because I think we'll need at least 7 receivers and 5 running backs. So that's looking like if my math is correct, a 2-5-7. I guess we could get the fourth, but that's not my desired outcome. I'd rather have a third quarterback than a fourth tight end.
Yeah, true. So, but at the very last pick, so we're gonna have the very last pick of this draft. If we only have 2 quarterbacks and 2 tight ends, are you looking? Is there a tight end that you would draft with the last pick, or a quarterback?
It kind of depends on the build on this team. I definitely want to lock up a third tight end for sure. So if we wait that long, that'd be the deciding factor. But I think we can still get a good quarterback price.
Let's say Justin Jolie. Is he someone?
No, I'm not very inclined to take the Broncos tight end. I've taken him once, but I didn't feel very good about it. I'm more inclined to take a Terrence Ferguson, a Colby Parkinson. I've thought about scooping up a random Eric All share lately.
So he's a guy that I'm actually looking. He's on the bubble of me dropping him in Dynasty. So I don't know about Eric Hall.
Yeah, the Bengals tight end room isn't the best, but they use it by committee more so than just like one particular name. So just to get a little different, I might consider it. But the final round is not the best place to take tight end.
I think Pat Freiermuth could be someone we could take.
Yeah, love P. Fry.
We got a lot of shots down here. You got Tucker, the Raiders. You talked about Jennings earlier. McMillan of the Bucks. If Godwin isn't who he's panned out to be, we've seen Ibuka have a great year from starting for us, and then by the end of the year, he was benched. So McMillan might be a sneaky in the conversation. What do you guys think about that one?
I do like McMillan. I think if not for the neck injury, he would have showed a lot more last year. I loved him his rookie season. I had him on a lot of my teams actually his rookie year. But I still believe in Ibuka as well. Like Ibuka played through that hamstring injury, and then the entire Bucks offense got hurt. So I think there were multiple factors involved there. But McMillan for the price, I think, is my most targeted, most drafted Tampa receiver.
Okay. Yeah, because it used to be one spot, a crowded depth chart, but now it looks like it's starting to pan out a little bit. What are you going to say, Jamie?
I'm a fan of Ted Hurst.
Because I mix him in.
The dude comes in and he's got that big playability. He's got like touchdown upside. He's I call him a mini Mike Evans. If he works out at the end of the year, his value is going to spike up.
Are there any fullbacks in this draft for infinite number monkeys? He wants to know.
Well, there's only one fullback in the league, and isn't that Juszczyk?
Well, there's 2. Jeff, if you're in the chat and you hear me, tell them about your he found a Patriots defensive tackle last year that was a fullback on goal line. He didn't get any carries, but if that would have worked, that would have been Jeff's sleeper of the year last year. I forget the guy's name. If you remember who it is, put it in the chat.
We're on the clock. I want Tank Bigsby here for sure.
Tank for sure. Yeah.
And then I want Rodgers as well if you're down. We have Metcalf, so it makes sense. We can take a Freiermuth later.
With Metcalf, I think we should go Rodgers.
Yeah, I'm totally down. He's not going to make it back. If he does, we'll get a little lucky, and this will prevent possibly us getting sniped on Friarmouth.
All right. So what's our build so far?
We got a
Recap this for the audience.
3-5-5-2. I think we're done at quarterback. I think we're done at running back as well. I like our running back room a lot. We got
Yes.
Gibbs, Swift, Judkins, Aaron Jones should be early in the season, and then Bigsby, if he pops, he'll be later in the year. So I like that
Like,
time correlation.
the
as well.
only person I would add to this room would be Claiborne if we get him late, but it's not a necessity.
I wouldn't mind that, but I think if we take one more tight end, we need 2 more receivers. I don't think we have the space for another running back.
Okay, yeah, because it's only 18 rounds, so
Mhm.
we do need 2 more receivers and 1 more tight end. So I think we can skip the running back.
Yeah, I think with Gibbs, trusting him, and our running back 2 and 3 is also pretty productive. Should be top 20, top 25 at the worst. I like stopping at 5.
And if you guys like these drafts, go to Nice and Blunt because he does these daily. He's doing these every single day, multiple times, right? Because I've seen you at 2 a.m. in the morning go live. Last night, I was sleeping. I woke up and I saw that you went live. I missed it. But
Sometimes
I'm always
I go
in the
pretty
chat.
late.
Yeah.
On Monday through Thursday, I'm usually in like the 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. Pacific is when I start usually. So if you're on the East Coast, you might have to catch the replay. But on Friday, I usually go live earlier in the day, and then there's at least like 1 or 2 drafts that are like more reasonably timed. Like they're usually like one around like 5 p.m. throughout the week, depending on my guest schedule. But on occasion, I do have like a very random work schedule. When I work on set, sometimes I'm there very early or just there very late. So on occasion, it just kind of messes with me. That's why I kind of like, I don't guarantee that I will be live at a specific time every day. I kind of do it on the fly. So they're usually late at night, but you ring the notification bell if you want to make sure you don't miss it.
So that's the Nice and Blunt YouTube channel. Check him out. Go over there, subscribe. There's enough people in the chat. We might as well cross promote. You know what I mean? What else are you working on besides the channel?
In all honesty, the channel's kind of the main thing. And then in my free time, I just try and, make enough money to pay my bills and not go homeless. Because the channel, I mean, you guys are probably aware, without a ton of views, YouTube doesn't pay a ton. So during the season, when I try and lock in and make it my full-time job, I need like money saved up and stuff. So I just try and save up money at this time of year. So I can't.
You recently just hit 10K subscribers,
Mm-hmm.
and you did a 10-hour live stream for those 10K subscribers. Yeah. I was one of the guests. You did an awesome job.
Appreciate that.
We have a huge best ball community. So, like, who are some of the other guests that you had on?
Real quick, we're on the clock, so I just want to make this pick before we move on. We need wideout. So you mentioned Ted Hurst. I'd be fine mixing him in today.
I love me some Ted Hurst, bro.
I'm down for that.
I also love Elijah Surratt in the slot that he's going to be in Baltimore.
I'm worried about our next round with tight end options, so I kind of want to just scoop up a tight end now. I'm T-Ferg here.
Oh, I love Terrence Ferguson. So Terrence Ferguson is amazing. He is the most talented tight end. People are all up on Claire.
I was going to ask. Yeah.
Shiny new rookie. Yes. No, but it is Terrence Ferguson. Ferguson's my guy. And
you're not worried about the rookie taking snaps away?
No.
There's so many tight ends in the Rams offense. I'm not going to expect the rookie to overtake all of them. Ferguson was a rookie last year, took a little time, also a second round pick, but like his skill set and how he can hit the lineup, he can score from 40 yards out. Not that many tight ends can do that. So he won't be consistent, but when he hits the lineup, he can give me 12 plus points. And that's what I'm looking for this late.
And he came on late last year. So
yeah,
I expect him
if you were watching the Rams the week that Adams went down, their first game without him, they tried to make Terrence Ferguson the man. They gave him like 3 different end zone targets. One of them was dropped. One of them was called back by penalty. And then the other one hit for a touchdown. He almost had 3 touchdowns in that game.
Hey, Jamie, some IDP talk. This guy, Kyrie's Tonga, that's who Jeff was talking about. He's a defensive tackle, but the Patriots would play him on the goal line as a fullback. Didn't get any carries, but that would have been neat. He's with the Chiefs now because the Patriots stole Reggie Gilman from the Bills. Jeff can talk with the best of them. Thanks for sharing that, Jeff.
Yes, my name is Jeff.
My name is Jeff.
You nailed it.
You nailed that. Yes. We need to clip that because that's way better than what I do. So yes, clip that, Steve.
Oh my gosh, we shall. Hey,
is that from 22 Jump Street or 21? I forget.
It
was 20, the second one because it was in the beginning of the movie when he was trying to become a Hispanic, I guess. I don't.
Yeah, they're trying to move some product homes.
Hey, me and Jamie had this talk. Tua just went off the board at QB.
Mm-hmm.
After Tua and after Rodgers and after Geno Smith, there's this danger zone at QB. There's guys like Watson, maybe Kirk Cousins, maybe just whatever. And me and Jamie were talking. Jamie's strategy is because there's teams in my best balls. They only got 2 QBs. They screwed themselves in these super flexes. I'm like, well, I might as well get a Kirk Cousins. He's like, nah, screw it. Just go get a wide receiver. What do you do there? Do you just say screw it? Or do you try to lock down one of these after top 27 QBs?
I think for the depth, why not? Like, especially if it's a managed league. Yeah, week 1, you're probably going to have Kirk Cousins in the lineup. So why not? You can drop him and get someone later. If it doesn't work, once he gets benched, you can cut him. If I was going to take someone that late, I think it might be Tua. Because I expect him to start the year, and I think as long as he stays healthy, he'll probably have the longest runway. Maybe Penix comes on down the stretch, but I think Tua will probably last like 10 weeks. We are about to be on the clock, gentlemen, though. Our final click. We don't have the best stacking partners, so it's kind of just which receiver do you like? Is there
I like
a name?
Horton.
You like
Horton.
Torrey?
Yes.
I wouldn't mind it.
Torrey Horton.
There's your aforementioned Kirk. Little foreshadowing there.
We could take Kirk.
Horton has the most upside.
Okay.
I think Kirk is safe, but he's not going to give us big games.
But also, Jamie, if you take Kirk, we're going to have a riot in the chat because we had a couple guys pro and a couple guys said he was dust. Remember?
I like Torrey Horton. I'm down. Let's go Torrey Horton.
Let's go Torrey Horton. I also like Darnell Mooney because, like, if Neighbors is out, Mooney could be the number 1.
Yeah, I've been struggling to decide which giant to take.
So the fun fact about that is, like, 2 years ago when I first discovered Nice and Blunt's channel, there was a huge Darnell Mooney discussion between me and you in the chat.
I used to love Darnell Mooney. Yeah.
Yes.
Who Hames is ready to riot, by the way. You say riot, he's there. He's there with a gasoline can and ready to steal some stereos. Peanut Punch, you sound like an IDP guy. Peanut _ Punch.
Peanut Punch. No, Peanut Punch is always in the best ball community. He's in every single draft that I've been in. So we had a raid, and I think it was Who Hames or something. No, it was Nice and Blunt. Everyone joined the draft, and I missed it, but I noticed Peanut Punch was in my draft. And this dude sniped me every single time that I wanted to pick a player. Peanut Punch.
Just peanut punch in the mouth, huh?
He punched me in the peanuts.
P-Punch knows how to hit you where it hurts. P-Punch has been in a lot of my stream drafts, and for whatever reason, we end up with like picks right next to each other a lot of the time too. P-Punch knows what he's doing. What's up, P-Punch? Should we recap this This team, right. Who Hames has a nickname. It's PP Punch.
Oh,
Yeah, he punched me in the pee-pee my last draft. What he did.
oh my goodness. Yeah, let's recap it, fellas.
We have a Dak Prescott with George Pickens stack. We got T-Law double stacked with Jacoby Myers and Brenton Strange. And then we got Rodgers with DK Metcalf. Balanced, good quarterback room. Love the fall on T-Law. And to be honest with you, I actually have Trevor Lawrence ranked one spot above Dak Prescott, to be completely honest with you. I actually like him a little bit more. But for the stack, it made plenty of sense to take Dak. And I'm okay with him. He needs to be stacked, though. I don't like taking him alone. But we had the 101. So with Gibbs, we're at a big advantage. And then the RB2 and 3 had a really nice pocket, high value in the draft, that 4-5 turn with Swift and Judkins. Tough to beat. And they don't always get taken together because they're both 5th-round picks. So perhaps a little bit more unique in theory, but maybe not. Who knows? Aaron Jones should be the guy until he gets hurt, so love the early season production. Bigsby should be the guy when Saquon goes down, so love the late season production. And then our receiver room, we got the double anchor, Nico. I think he's a clear top 10 receiver. Pickens could actually just be the alpha in Dallas, but then Metcalf with our stack, fine where he goes, but kind of a flat tier in general. Myers stacked up, Dobbs at a little discount, valuable in New England, and then our bet on the rookie Ted Hurst, and then the second-year breakout with Horton. Just needs to stay healthy, should score touchdowns. But Strange stacks up, Okonkwo good value, and then Ferguson for that extra crack at it with a different bye week, and just high spike week upside. Fun team.
It is a fun team. Like, I look at our tight end room as being kind of weak, but it's also kind of strong because we do have those upside.
If they hit in different weeks, I think we could get a lot of touchdowns out of them. I think from a touchdown standpoint, these names might be pretty undervalued. Like, if you told me they each averaged 6 touchdowns this year, wouldn't be shocked.
And this tournament, we're only looking at week 17, right? That's the big money.
Well, we got to get there, but yeah, that's where the money's made.
So yes, let's look at the big money. Who's your favorite pick in week 17 on this team that would get us that big money?
On this team, good question. I really like the bring back we had between the Gibbs and Swift matchup. The Lions Bears game could have some interesting weather, perhaps, where they have to run the ball a little extra. But I like those two a lot. I love Trevor Lawrence in week 17. He gets the Commanders at home. That's going to be a really big game for him. We saw him last year drop 40 in week 15, be the guy you need. Week quarterback 1. Also love Dak's matchup against the Giants. Rodgers is fine, but I love T-Law. So to have him stacked up, we also got the bring back with Okonkwo against the Jaguars. So that should be an interesting game there. And then lastly, I think Pickens, when he will explode, like 180 yards and a touchdown, possibly 2, is not out of the question. I think Pickens could be the piece that really crushes when it matters most.
So yeah, I think we crushed this draft.
It's a fun one. I think you're muted, Steve.
To quote the great mind of Who Hames, he said exactly that. You guys crushed the draft. He did. He predicted that early, like Johnny Carson back in the old day when he read the envelope and predict it. He said that 10 minutes before you guys said it. I just put up there now. Exactly. You guys crushed the draft. I took a lot of notes, so I too would like a couple of minutes to do a recap. This is what I learned today. You ready? You ready, audience?
Yeah, let's go for it.
I learned to fade the hell out of tight end. I learned to fade it even farther than I thought to fade it. Earlier in the year, I'm like, I can wait to Sam Laporta. Jamie's like, no, wait for Chig. I learned tonight from Adam, hell with that. Wait even farther. You can get guys like Pat F, Goatster. You can get Chig again. You can get Ferguson. How late did you go for tight end? You went super, super late, did you not?
Yeah, we took our first one, round 12, 12-13 turn. We double tapped the position.
How about that? You can fill up in all the other positions. Depending where you're at, we had an early pick, obviously RB. But rounds 2 and 3, you can really hedge the competition with those wide receivers. RBs, 4th, 5th, 6th were kind of nice to us, yeah? there were a lot of good players in there. If you look at the board, there were tons of players going. I mean, we don't really care for Brees Hall, but around later, there's a ton of guys in there that you could kind of exploit the ADP on.
The Scatterboo through Travion Henderson pocket is really valuable.
And then depending what you do at at round 6 or so, but like when you're looking at round 6, 7, 8, 9, there's a good QB trail in there. And you heard it from Adam first. He likes Trevor Lawrence ahead of Dak Prescott. Regardless, if you just want to wait for the last man standing, there's a whole slew of QBs in there, from Brock Purdy to Dak Prescott to Herbert. There's a whole bunch of guys in there that you can take later in drafts. I think Lawrence was actually later than those guys,
Yeah, we got a very good price on T-Law.
Mm-hmm. And then
I already took a rip, Mike Rob. We didn't announce it. If you want, I can hit the drop.
I'm smoking right now, bro.
I mean, if you get your QBs in those middle rounds, I'm talking like, round 9 or so, there's some value in this draft for like wide receiver upside. We talked about the Godwins. We talked about Jaden Reed just hanging out. We all three of us like Jaden Reed this year, right? If KC Concepcion, how do you say his name? Concepcion, if he bounces, that's a wide receiver 1 on a team so late. And then you had some deep flyers. I wrote them all down. Katron Allen of Commanders. Tank Bigsby may actually break the universe. Claiborne of the Vikings. And then we also said Jalen McMillan of the Bucks. Those are my thoughts this draft. I mean, you guys helped me out a lot. I think I'm going to start getting into these best balls with y'all a lot more often.
You need to join, but we need Adam to drop his smoke break before we take off.
Please.
If you could do it. Please.
Hit it. It's not going to come with the music. When I'm through as a guest on StreamYard, you don't get the music, but you get the visual.
All right, let's see it. Let's see it real quick. So, Steve, dude, you killed this, man. We got so many late round snipes. You got to smoke it up. All you have to do is pay attention and smoke it up. And
within reason, don't do anything illegal, but enjoy yourself when you can.
Hey, before we leave, and I know we had a pretty packed house, considering we haven't done one of these in a while, Jamie, this was a packed house. We had guys from Peanut Punch all the way to Jorge Edwards just coming in the chat. Thank you for contributing. If you guys want to talk to me and Jamie, we're going to be at the Fantasy Expo. I'm going to be on the panel for IDP. If you're interested in IDP content, all of my Dynasty content is over at Fantasy Frames behind their paywall. All of my redraft IDP articles, they're behind Fantasy Six Pack behind their paywall. I also just got picked up as a writer over at the Huddle, so I'll be doing that.
Awesome.
And I work 40-hour-week job. Just shoot me now while we're at it. And I'm a ranker over Fantasy Pros. I was top 3 ranker last year for IDP purposes. Awesome. Jamie, you're all over the damn place. Go ahead and give yourself a plug.
Oh man, I'm all over the place. I love just going into the best ball community with Nice and Blunt, with Who Hames, any person that puts out a draft board that I could actually look at, I'm in the chat. But otherwise, I'm overdoing Fantasy Six Pack, just like Steve, but I do a Dynasty show. Also, right here on the IDP Center. I don't care what it is, IDP offense, anything that you want, we got you right here on the IDP Center.
Don't let the IDP part confuse you. We got offense too, right?
Yep. Yeah, let's do it.
Hell yeah.
And then Adam, your channel, it's important to him. You heard him say it. Help him thrive in his community. 10K subscribers. That is amazing. Nice and Blood over there at YouTube. You do these every day, Adam. I'm going to start showing up more often because you did great. And I want to pick your brain at this. So this was an awesome podcast, fellas.
Happy to be here. It was a fun time. Thought we drafted a banger as well, and glad we could pick each other's brain on some different topics, and honored to be here.
Are you on Twitter, Adam? I know Jamie's at Jamie Prog. He doesn't use his Twitter. I'm on at Real IDP Hunter. Are you on Twitter, my friend?
I don't use it very often, but yeah, you can find me on Twitter at Nice and Blunt as well. It's a different picture of me, but yeah, that's me.
Goss. And then you could also find Adam on old reruns of My Name is Earl. I got to get that in there. So.
Yeah, there's one of those as well.
Yeah, if you want to see someone throw an apple at someone's head, that's what you need. Season 2, episode 15.
That's
to be exact.
You got it, Jamie. That's exactly what it is.
And shout out for Jamie because he kind of pulled me into this. He's like, "Oh, we're gonna do a 40-minute show." I should know by now. Whenever me and Jamie get together, we're going at least an hour. But these guys enjoyed it. So again, thank you so much for coming on, guys. Any final thoughts?
Happy to be here, man. Excited for the season, and good luck on the road to 5K. Love the channel as well.
Yeah, we're getting there slowly but surely. Like, you know what I mean? But
it's just you got to keep grinding. As long as you
Yeah.
keep hitting the content button, it'll come back to you.
See, my issue is I do it in streaks. I'll write like 5 articles in a night, or I'll do like and like I told Jamie, I'm like, I have nothing else to talk about. We're on the cusp of preseason OTAs, but I gave it my all this year from top 250 IDP rookies. Nobody does that. I'm like, I need a break. And then Jamie's like, aha, I got a guy. I got something. So we never take breaks, do we, Jamie?
Nope, never. We always be grinding, man. And final thoughts is trust your process. Unless your process says that these tight ends in the first 5 rounds, then you just throw it all out there, man.
Mix it up, try new things, and don't be afraid to push any position past your comfort zone just to try it. It's worth mixing in.
And that's what we did this draft. We pushed tight ends, and we ended up with some bangers.
Heck yeah, you did.
Let's go.
Like
All right, I
every
don't know
champion.
anything else.
We
Like
made
every
it to
championship.
2 hours.
Yeah. 2 hours
Yeah.
rocking this. I don't got anything else, fellas. Just hit us up on Twitter and the streets or on YouTube streets, okay? Talk hard, everybody. Take care.
Sounds good. Peace out.
Peace.